Welcome back. Well, it has been a while since I did a guitar review, but I'm very excited about this particular one because it is a guitar I've been after for 6, 7 years, I think, at least, ever since I first saw one, and it's just the most unusual, weird, and unusually striking looking things that I've ever seen. So, without further ado, here it is. What is it, you may ask? It is a Yamaha SGV-300. So, try and get it all in. So, this is, as you can tell, a weird looking thing. So, it's pretty unique. It's an old design, I believe. Yamaha made these, or a similar model that looked like this at least, back in the late 60s, I think. I forget what that model was called. I think it was SG2 or something like that. But it had basically the same body shape as this. Different pickup configuration, I think, and maybe a few other little minor details that were different. But ultimately, it was this kind of shape. It was then reissued, I believe, in the early mid-2000s, and I think that is when this is from. I haven't dated it, but yeah, most of the ones I've seen have been from around that kind of time period. What do I think of it? This is obviously going to be my rundown, breakdown, review thing of this guitar. There aren't too many people talking about this thing online. Certainly not on YouTube. There aren't many videos at all, so I'm adding this one to the handful that exist already. Hopefully I can maybe add a little bit more information, or at least some extra sound clips or whatever of this guitar. So, first of all, first impressions, besides the looks, obviously, which are the main reason why I got it, I'm not going to lie. It's very comfortable, extremely comfortable to hold and to have on your lap. Just, it sits nicely. The weight of it also, it doesn't, it's not neck heavy. For example, the Epiphone Firebird I had recently, well, I'll say recently, about nearly 9 months ago, I think. That is very neck heavy, and as awesome as it is, it does like to dip while you're playing with it, standing up or on your lap. This does not do that. This stays planted. It's nice and comfortable on your lap, doesn't move an inch, which I really like. The shape of it does lend itself quite nicely to playing sitting down as well. But I haven't got a strap for it yet. I haven't actually tried it with an existing strap of mine yet, so I will probably do that in a second. I'll grab a strap and try it standing up. So yeah, very comfortable. The neck and bridge position are fairly high up. Don't know if you can see that. They're quite high or pronounced away from the body, so there's a little bit of a I don't know. It's not massive. It's only a small thing that I've noticed, but it kind of makes me feel, or reminds me a little bit of a maybe like a Rickenbacker kind of a thing. Not entirely, but just from how high the neck stands away from the body, and just how much of a gap there is between the strings, and the bridge is wound down pretty low as well. So yeah, it does seem like there is a lot of clearance there. That said, the pickup, the main bridge pickup at least, does come up quite a long way to meet the strings. I've found playing this, I do catch the pickup a little bit. I think you probably can lower it a bit, but I haven't really looked that hard into doing that. But it's not a massively big deal anyway, so I'm happy with it as it is. The neck is, I would say, feels kind of like a D. It's like a D cut neck, but not thick. It's not a baseball bat. There is a little bit of thickness to it. It's not a, I don't know. Maybe it's more of a C. It's like a soft C. Maybe it doesn't feel too much like a D. Thinking about it, it's not particularly flat on this part. I don't know. Yeah, I'd say it's kind of like a very, very shallow C shape neck. I think it's a standard scale length, 25.5. I think it feels like it anyway. Yeah, very comfortable, as I said. There's nothing about it that stands out as unusual to play or weird. Certainly with the neck anyway. The headstock is not very, very, very strange and extremely thin. It's probably the thinnest headstock I've ever seen on a guitar. But it's very stable. It's nice and straight, in line with the neck as well. So it doesn't have a curve or anything. I don't think it's going to break on me. The bridge. Let's talk about the bridge, because this is probably one of the most eye-catching aspects of this guitar. It's weird. I mean, look at that thing. That's a lot of metal going on there. Okay, first of all, the actual bridge itself. It's mounted on the same plate as the tremolo system. It has roller saddles, which I really like. I think that's pretty much not essential, but I think it's my personal preference for tremolo equipped guitars to have a roller saddle bridge, which this has. So I'm very happy about that. Very easy to adjust as well. These two little sort of screw bolt things, nuts on top. These two little nuts both twist off to reveal screws that have an Allen key insert to them, so you can put an Allen key in there, raise and lower the bridge posts from within. Then, when you've got the right height that you want, you can then twist these nuts back onto the top, and it makes it nice and clean looking again. Very, very cool. I like that design. Yeah, it's just a very unique looking thing. Top loaded as well, if you notice the holes there for the strings. I put some D'Addario 10 to 46 strings on here. Yeah, you can push a little bit on it without the trem arm, which sadly this did not come with. I'm going to have to try and get an aftermarket one. The stock one that comes with it does have a large kind of metal end on it like this to kind of match the switch tip. So yeah, I don't think there's much chance of me finding a matching original trem arm for this, but I'll see if I can find some kind of aftermarket one to use on this guitar. But yeah, there is a little indent, if you notice, on here, which I think is designed with your heel of your hand in mind. So I think you can kind of rest your hand on it and then just push to get like a subtle vibrato going on as you play. Not 100% on that, but it certainly is a very wide and flat surface for your wrist to kind of rest on. So that, even if that isn't the purpose or the intended purpose, you can use it in that way, which I quite like. Let's talk about the pickups and the selector switch control system thing. It's, again, very unusual and unique to this guitar, and I like it a lot. So obviously you have the normal, fairly standard 3-way position switch. You've got the neck position, neck and whatever combination you have down here, and then just the bridge. So this is where it gets interesting. The bridge pickup is actually 2 single coils, as you can probably gather. However, there is a blend knob down here, and it has a little notch sort of halfway point. As you're turning it, you go all the way from the left, and as you're turning it, it goes like it falls into a little notch, kind of a subtle but noticeable click kind of a feel. So it stops halfway there, and at that point, I believe, from what the internet's told me, that engages both of these single coils and turns it into essentially a humbucker. So you get a pseudo humbucker sound from this pickup in that position, or you can carry on past that point and turn it the rest of the way, and then you have the lower single coil. So you can have this coil, that coil, or a blend of the two, depending on how you have this set. Obviously, that means then you can have a lot of fun playing around with the different combinations, using the pickup selector switch in either that position or the middle position to have all kinds of combinations between these three pickups. Very, very cool. And then of course you've got the volume and tone, which is pretty standard. And I think that just about covers everything. What I'm going to do now is I will jump back in time to when I first got this guitar set up, because it didn't come with any strings. It came all the way from Japan, and it was very dirty, being a second-hand, quite old guitar. So I will cut now to the clip of me first cleaning this guitar up, taking the scratch plate off, and putting it kind of back together, putting strings on it, etc. Okay, so here is the Flying Samurai. I've undone all these little screws, as you can see. I basically wanted to take the cellophane off, so the best way to do that was to take all the screws out, take the knobs off, etc. Take all these little washers off, and came right off with a little bit of extra persuasion. It's only when I took the knobs off I was able to get a good look at what the original colour of this scratch plate pickguard was. So you can see it was more of an off-white kind of colour originally, and now it's more of a cream, I'd say. So yeah, it's faded quite a bit with the sun. So with that being the case, the worry that I had was how much has the yellow of the body been affected, because it's hard to tell on the camera, but this is actually looking more like a kind of I don't know, like a kind of pale pineapple kind of a yellow, rather than, so on the camera I can see it looks a lot more kind of a I don't know, golden kind of a hue. But taking the neck off like so, and then taking the scratch plate off very carefully, it's very delicate, it feels old and fragile and brittle, you can see there's actually surprisingly little fade going on. You can just about see the shape of the pickguard, where a pickguard has cast a little bit of a tan line. But apart from that, it's pretty good. So I'm relieved about that, because I was a little bit uncertain as to whether the colour was meant to be brighter than this originally, but no, it seems like it hasn't faded too much, and this is basically how it's supposed to look. This trem system, man, it's I had used an Allen key in here just to try it out, and you can just about see how it works. Strings go straight through the end there, so it is an all-in-one top-mounted kind of a trem system, which I've not seen before. I don't think I've ever seen one like this, which is really interesting. But yeah, anyway, that's basically it. I'm now just I've cleaned all underneath the pickguard, and I've taken the cellophane off, as I said. So now it's time to put all this back together and string it up. So back to you in the studio. Thank you, Phil. So without further ado, I think it's time we heard this thing, right? I think so. I'm going to plug into my Granger Hammerhead 50 down there and play through some tones. So, those were some sounds. I think you'll agree it sounds pretty amazing. Partly, I think, because the bridge has a lot of metal in it, so you get a very bright, twangy kind of a sound from it. I really love that. The bridge pickup I am totally in love with. I think it's fantastic. It's incredibly diverse, getting all of the different sounds with the blender knob. I think I got that wrong before. I did point it out in the video as I was playing. I figured out that it was brighter when I turn it this way, not that way. So I think this way is the bottom part of the single coil pickup, and then middle obviously is both, and then turning it that way, clockwise from my perspective, it's the middle single coil, I think. So yeah, a little bit counterintuitive, I would say. But anyway, it's great. It does all of the things that I would want it to do and more. I really like it on a strap as well. It's very comfortable. It hangs nicely. It stays where you want it to. No neck diving, as I said before. A couple of other details that I forgot to mention about, well, something about the neck first of all. The frets are really, really tall. I mean, it's easier to remove material than to put material back. So if I really wanted to, I could get these filed down. I could have a fret level and address on this and get the action down even lower and have a much faster playing neck. But it's not drastically bad or anything. I can still play it fine. It doesn't impede anything. If anything, it actually improves things like vibrato, I think, because you've got because the frets are quite tall, it's more forgiving, I think, for when you're doing something drastic behind, like really extreme bends and vibrato and stuff. So I like it for that, but again, bear that in mind if you're looking to get one of these. The other thing, I don't know if it's just me or just this guitar, but the jack for the guitar is really stiff. It takes a lot of effort to put it in and to take it out. Giggity. There we go. So it's recessed as well, you'll notice. There we go, you can see there. So you can only put straight jacks in here. I did try to put an angled one in, and it just wouldn't go because it's embedded too far into the body. So it has to be these kind. And again, you have to really push to get it in there. I might have to get that looked at. I don't know if I want that, really. Although I suppose it does make it harder to just accidentally pull and lose your sound completely. So there's that. And that's about it, really. I am super happy with this thing. I think it's absolutely amazing. It plays easily as good as it looks. I think it sounds as good as it looks, and I am definitely going to be keeping this one for a very long time, if not forever. Dare I say it, it may even become my new #1. That's a tall order, it's a big statement, but I'm cautiously holding that opinion in the back of my mind. It is that good though, it is really, really impressive. My first Yamaha, never had a Yamaha guitar before. A lot of people I know started off with a Pacifica or something similar like that, but never did that. I skipped over that whole stage entirely when I was first learning and whatever. So my first ever Yamaha, and I think I am starting to understand what all the hype is about. A lot of people love Yamaha guitars, talk about them as being a best kept secret and all that kind of thing, and I can totally see why. It's a really, really great guitar. I can only imagine that other Yamahas are also great playing guitars. I'm going to have to start checking out more of their range, I think. Thanks very much for watching. Hope this has been useful in some way. Any questions, feel free to comment below. And yeah, thanks very much. Bye.